Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of the Internet Set. So, a show we take random institute facts, and stories that we talk about it. And today, in this bonus episode, we are talking about Gen V from the world of the boys. So, boys, chalu karte hai episode. What's up, guys? Welcome to a very special bonus test episode. And this time, we're going to be discussing a new show that all of y'all need to watch. It's called Gen V. Firstly, is it Gen V or Gen 5? You make up your mind as long as you watch the show, but it is Gen V. Okay, it's from the world of the boys. And hum boys to hai, but I think we need one more person who's actually going to balance out all the pop culture superhero knowledge
we need pop culture's Homelander.
Yeah. So let's bring on pop culture Homelander, Rohit Joshi.
Homelander, 1 second. 1 second.
So you're the
I
psychopath.
would like to no, that is all okay. I would just like to begin by just dispelling any rumors, guys. I am lactose intolerant, first of all.
Hilarious joke for everybody who has watched The Boys. Again, this is nudge, nudge, wink, wink. That please watch The Boys and watch Gen V both because it's from the same world. So before we get into talking about Gen V, I thought it's important to just let people who've not watched either Boys or Gen V know the world that they're coming into, because it's not just any superhero, or as they're known in this universe, soups. So from here on, we will refer to them as soups, right? But there has been a superhero fatigue almost. Pretty much all of us, except Baba, have sat, watched everything. And it's come to a point where, I don't know, sometimes we feel like, arey, ye same cheez ho raha hai, maza nahi aa raha hai. And then comes this boys ka universe, which takes the genre and just turns it on its head completely. Rohan, what do you feel?
Basically, I feel like this show was born only with superhero fatigue. Like, वो पैदा ही हुआ था superhero fatigue के साथ. मतलब वो पहले एपिसोड में ही बोला कि भाई नहीं चाहिए दुनिया में सुपरहीरो.
Correct.
And I think it's great because what it does is it takes the sort of very shiny, sort of manufactured for kids, idealistic version. Because see, let's face it, right? If you sit and think about superheroes for more than 2 minutes, one person with godlike powers or 5 people with godlike powers just regularly crossing borders to act out on the basis of what they feel is ethically right. Singularly, probably not the best power for somebody to have. And the boys just takes that idea and runs with it, basically going that superheroes would be the most nightmarish thing to have, especially in a capitalistic society that would happily exploit them for profit and for gain. And it really takes that concept and runs with it to very dark and fun and entertaining places. So if you essentially want to see what look like as a psychopath, or what like the would look like as like this cynical sort of brand hungry image, this thing, then this is the show for you.
Yeah. What if had more trauma?
Yeah.
And
also
powers.
Also exploring this almost corporatization of superheroes, right? Like it's set in a world where superheroes are a commodity, they're a brand, and they are not just people born with it naturally.
100%.
You can also in this world make somebody a hero courtesy compound V. Right? Yeah. So, and how do you take that? What effect does it have on people who are not necessarily born with the powers, but the powers were thrust upon them? I think that would I
think it's also a very cool sort of reflection of, in general, our sort of influencer and attention hungry world, right? Where as long as you can create the right package and put it out in front of the audience, everything else is essentially forgiven and swept away by the larger corporate machine. And I think that's something.
Sorry, go for it. Sorry.
No. I think that's something that the boys does spectacularly, and by extension, sort of Gen V, which we will come to, I think sort of takes that a step further and gets into the younger version of that, which is sort of influencer culture and sort of social media culture and all of that, which I think is pretty fantastic.
100%.
It comes from this thing of, anything that is revered at some point is commercialized. And we've always done it. We've done it successfully as a race, as for I don't know, since time immemorial, right? So anything that is pure, revered, and it goes from I mean, various things, some which we don't say on podcast, but including like sport, including things where it's just gone from the pure enjoyment of it to suddenly making it commercial, where there is enough power hungry grabs that are taking place, where people are not interested in the pure play reason why they started it. And
I think the fact that we live in a world where around the street corners of the world, right, there's probably like about $10 million worth of t-shirts with Che Guevara's face on them sold, right, with like 100 brand messages and no sense of irony whatsoever. I think tells you everything you need to know.
Everything. Correct. No, also, and like the world of Gen V and the boys, not only is it taking the superhero genre, turning it on its head, but presenting it to you in the most unbelievable way possible, right? They go from downright dark comedy to in your face, like it's gross, but that grossness doesn't put you off. It sort of gets you more excited and in the vibe of the show, right?
It's also like it's very Tarantinoesque in the sense that it's very like there'll be build, and then there'll just be a moment. Like that gross is not. There's just this moment where you, as an audience, the characters, everybody, it's one of the few shows I've seen where every time a moment of grossness happens, there's a character on screen and I are having the same reaction, which is just that.
Why?
Why?
At the same time, right? It's not. It rarely feels like premeditated.
And it's almost like that. Oh shit! They went there. And then you will call up other people who watch the show and you're like, bro, you saw what he did or what they did. Like, it's insane the way they manage.
We're all talking about the same scene.
Footnote, asterisk
yeah, we're all talking about
Boys Season 3 Herogasm episode.
Yes.
Yeah, just one.
For sure. But like, I think this, at least we've set up the world of The Boys. So people who haven't watched The Boys, please go watch it. But even if you haven't watched The Boys, there is absolutely no reason to not to think that you'd not be able to watch a Gen V. I think it's very, very watchable, even without having watched The Boys. Yes, there are certain, cameos and instances that will just make you feel like, oh, wow, that's how.
But I feel like it's like entering the universe from this door instead of this door. It's not innately. You can find your way to The Boys through, which is a smart sort of thing that they've done in this first season.
Yeah.
This can absolutely be your first introduction
to the universe.
The universe that this show happens in.
I love that premise, right? Of if there was a world where superheroes were just real or manufactured, then they would have to go through some kind of training. So what if there was a university for superheroes? That's the premise of the show.
And what if, with absolutely no irony, you called it God You? What if, with absolutely no sense of irony, you literally called it God University?
Godalkin. I don't know what that Godalkin.
The entire purpose of that name is to be able to say God You.
God You,
And the thing is, it's that classic old school corporatization where you start a company, become successful, get thing, then start an institution to funnel that company. Like it's like an academy, right? Like now from
Dash Educational Trust. Like just put in whatever name you want.
And then this is, by the way, Baba, this is also Chelsea Football Club's entire strategy.
Except
they're testing the players in the lab in the basement.
Right now, no, 1 second.
It is Barca. This is Barca.
If Neville could, he would 100% be like pouring what down the mouth of Chelsea players. Okay, like could be pouring compound V down the mouth of Chelsea players if he could right now.
Which is what I think
needs compound V right now.
Which is what I think Barcelona is actually doing. Okay, let's move on from
let's get back to
4-4-B. 4-4-B.
So where boys focused on superheroes already established, powers already given. Now you move to a Gen V, which is your Gen Z equivalent of people. It's a young adult. Like if you watch the show and you had to describe it, it's actually a young adult drama, and that 100%. Might put off people like, I'm 36. I don't want to watch about young adults or whatever. But then you watch it and you realize that they've even taken that genre, turned it on its head.
Correct.
100%.
No, because Dil Chahta is also young adult drama. Just FYI.
Also, one sec, we now live in an age where like YA can mean like 100 different things, right?
That's true.
Like, I mean, let's face it, the first big YA breakout of this generation was literally a franchise about kids who were sent to participate in fights to the death. Okay.
Yeah.
So why is pretty broad. And what I like about this particular one is that it could have been really cringy. Okay. Because see, let's face it, in this sort of age of streaming, there's been a lot of attempts of the last couple of years to sort of show, Gen Z, but they feel like they were written by a bunch of middle-aged people's idea of what sort of Gen Z is, right? We're just sort of like, oh my God, like, and I'm not even Gen Z. I'm older than them, but even I'm watching and I'm like, please stop, please stop speaking. But this show, sort of from minute one, what I like is that it really captures, I think, this sort of specific moment in what it's like to be young without being patronizing, without being sort of cringy about it, but also leaving space to go both ways. Like that common high school trope of, there's good kids and there's bad kids. Here, everybody's sort of just trying to make their way. What I like about this show, right? There's no, at least among the kids, no straight up direct heroes and villains and, like the Deepak Tijori versus the Amir Khan and the character.
Amir Khan.
Like to use this thing is not, it's not how they're playing it. And I like that.
Jo Jeeta Wahi Soup.
Jo Jeeta Wahi Soup. Or as I like to call this show, guy, Mutant of the Year.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
No, but isme also, if you see, right, all the real life problems that a Gen Z, like Gen Z would face. So you have pressure at school, pressure to perform, always in competition with your other students.
Social media.
Pressures of social media, eating disorders, questions about their sexuality, exploring their sexuality, so many different things that they actually face. Now they've taken those problems, and what if all of these problems were faced by people who are superpowers? Automatically just takes, it
you just take every
you,
teen archetype and take it to 11.
Exactly. And also put forward points in a non-preachy way, like nothing, none of the important questions that they're answering are done like, oh, you know what, there's a 4-minute monologue where somebody comes, oh, none of that. It's put
there's a
forward
4-second blood spatter.
Yeah. And it conveys the point. It conveys the point.
Dude, we've all been raised in the Indian education system. We know that like school and college is this like delicate trade-off between really wanting to like have the best sort of friends you can and be like the happiest you can, but also constantly being aware that you're in direct competition with these people, and every one of you will do whatever it takes to, at the end of the week or at the end of the month, at the end of the year, be number one on that ranking board, right? So that constant tension, and we've all been there, man. Everybody's not always made the best decisions under those circumstances. And I think the show plays that sort of tension and conflict really well. And what I like is it's not black or white.
Yes, it's always in that gray space.
Push and pull, like.
And I think that they exploit the gray, which is what I like about it. Like even in the most recent episode, right? Like in episode 7, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but I'll just mention this. Even in episode 7, the debate that they're having politically is both ways. Like both arguments seem fair, right? Like they exploit the gray and they open up the gray, which is really nice.
Also, one hallmark of the boys has always been, having superheroes, soups with very different powers than you're normally used to see, right? So I just wanted to go through all your main characters from Gen V. We spoke about Golden Boy, right? Superhuman strength, fire manipulation and all of that. Then you have Mary Murrow, whose powers were the most different and unique. I'm like, who came up with this? Right? So she has something called hemokinesis, where she can control blood. Her own blood, somebody else's blood, and she keeps discovering more and more ways in which she can use her powers.
Hey guys, Avatar did it first, okay? Blood bending was a thing.
Way of the blood.
but yes, they're very unique powers. I agree.
Yeah. Then you have the most interesting one I thought was this character Jordan, right? Now you have a bi-gender soup. So they can turn into a girl, they can turn into a boy, and each side has a specific power. Again,
and they're Asian, so they can be two people and disappoint their parents as two people. Like it's amazing.
And they even bring that up.
Yeah, exactly. They can disappoint their parents as two people.
Yeah, and even that dad's argument at that point, saying that, for most people, I get that it's not a choice, but for you, it is like there is disappointment laden in that sentence, right?
But also, so like again, such an interesting thing to incorporate into the show, right? Conversations about gender are anyway so big. Everybody's trying to, put it across the right way. And again, for them to use a bi-gender soup, and not for the heck of it, like it actually has some sort of weightage in the show.
Yeah,
is,
and
I
there's no
think,
moment where
really
everybody
cool.
sits down around like a campfire and sings
Yeah.
Kumbaya and tells their feelings to each
Yeah.
other in like one patronizing like monologue about
Yeah.
Everybody's
like
got their
how-
own
yeah.
like shitty problems and they're trying to deal with it.
And it's just the normalization of it, which I feel in a superhero show is really cool, because that's again an area nobody has touched before. Sorry, Kautuk, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that one other thing that's really different, right, from the regular superhero sort of trajectory. The regular superhero trajectory is that you had a problem, which is why you got your powers. Here they flip it by saying you got your powers, which is why you have problems.
It's the X-Men
Yeah.
formula, right? It's the
That's
X-Men
so cool.
formula. Essentially, the idea that basically you actually, in a way, didn't choose this. Now you just have to make the best of the situation. Like in a
And-
world that actually views you with great suspicion.
Yeah, and at least for like, say for example, in the thing of Emma's character, right? The fact that there is a cost to those powers. Like there's a real
Yeah.
like cost to it, and I think that's for me that was a very, very interesting touch. There's a very good sort of like it doesn't
That's
come
interesting,
with,
right? Because that's something that Wolverine says a lot, right? Where he's like, it hurts every time these claws
Yeah.
come out, right? So sort of leaning into that idea of like, and she says also one, it's not necessarily a power. And can I first of all just say Emma for me standout character.
yeah,
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 great character.
so good.
Far
So good.
and away stand up. Like for me, I think I don't know whether it was episode 3 or 4 without going into spoilers, when she helps that guy by basically doing her thing. I think for me that is some of like the most entertaining TV I have seen in the
No,
last
also,
year.
like, just important to just give a context about her powers for people who've not seen it, right? She can become really, really
manipulate
tiny
size. Yeah.
or she can become really big, right? But both come with a cost of I have to throw up to become really tiny, or I have to binge on a lot of food to become really big. Again, exploring real world food eating disorders, but via route of a soup, and still not making it preachy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
She's never like this sort of victim or somebody where her entire thing is like, look, this is my thing. I'm working on figuring it out. Like it's many things. Just
Yeah.
give me the space to do it.
In
Correct.
fact, like people trying to use her for their agenda to fit, like make her fit that mold.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally make her
Exactly.
fit a mold.
Literally, and she's like, no. All right, like again, that
Yeah.
scene, I think episode 3 or 4,
3 or 4,
without
yeah.
going into detailed spoilers, like with her and Marie in the toilet is just
Yeah.
one of the sweetest
Yeah.
scenes I have seen in my life. Like it was just
Correct.
so sweetly done. And again, right, because that's the thing, right? With superhero shows, with these things, it has to first work as a teenage drama
Yeah.
for the superpowers to mean anything, right? In the
Correct.
same way that for like any show, for the fantasy to work,
Yeah,
you
it
have
has
to
to
believe in
just-
the characters.
You
right?
have to be relatable to the, I don't know, not just the
Yeah.
audience, but also like to the story. Like the story and the relationship has to be real.
Right.
Like
Like
that's
that
so
entire
important.
episode at the fundraiser, I just really liked that it was an episode about a bunch of kids feeling really out of place in
Yeah.
like a sort of world
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
commoditizing them, right?
Networking.
Essentially, those kids who
Parade-
are getting drunk
parading
at the
them.
back at the wedding, like because they don't want to deal with the uncles and aunties anymore. And I thought it's not about the powers, it's not about that. It's just about the fact that you're at this age where you feel like nobody understands you, and the 6 people
Mera
around you
ek-
are maybe the only people who get that.
एक मेरा problem था when I'm and this is from the trailer, so I'm not like giving anything away. Marie is testing her powers in her previous school before she comes
Yeah.
here in her orphanage. I'm just thinking when she's testing her powers, वो chair लगाती है, वो लगाती है. The janitor who has to clean that shit up after she's done practicing.
He thinks the school is haunted.
Yeah.
Just बेचारा रोज mop लेके आ रहा है.
Maybe at some point पुलिस को बुलाना पड़ेगा ना. Like, ये क्या है?
मैडम आपका खून बहुत ज्यादा निकल गया है, इतना नहीं हो सकता. Okay, so how I love that it jumps off right from the last season of Boys, where it all just kind of like it gets released that all like they were pumping the kids with Compound V. So now it starts off with all the kids here knowing that their parents betrayed them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Because
such a
even-
horrible feeling. Huh.
No, it's
even in
it's
terms of the
classic that
timeline,
my
it's-
parents don't get me, right? Like it's classic.
Yeah.
No, also playing into right now, right, with Gen Z, for example, like a large sort of narrative among Gen Z kids is like, you're the sort of first generation that has left the younger kids worse off than like the previous
Yeah.
generation sort of had.
Yeah.
Like you've left us. So also to your point, it's really cool, Aadar, that you say that, because you think about the whole idea of that, this upar ka generation only betrayed us, right?
Correct.
It's starting
Completely.
premise. And that's what
It's like
I like
tumne
about
paisa
the
liya.
show. Ha, and
Huh.
that's a great lead-off point too, where your traditional college drama, like 15 years ago when we used to watch college shows, it was all these sort of factions between students. This show ka vibe is more like kids versus the adults.
adults,
Like in
yeah.
the sense that you guys
Yeah.
don't get us, we will figure our shit out. Like,
The
But-
other thing about this whole show, like boys and Gen V, is I love the thing that gets me very, very like it fully like hooks me is the media parody constantly.
Completely.
The parts about like interviews, about how stardom is manufactured.
Here's
Like,
your
for
script.
example,
Here's your
Dude,
script
Tech
for
Night.
this.
my
very,
Tech Night. My favorite
that
part was the
entire
true
Tech
crime.
Night intro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, and also what a brilliant character, bro. Brilliant character can sense when a person's like physiological
Lying.
changes are happening in a
Yeah.
person, so he is able to deduce their lie,
Weird
whatever.
Sherlock.
Yeah,
Sherlock.
exactly.
Yeah.
Weird
And-
Sherlock.
He's a
And that
lie
guy-
detector, dude. That's
Walking lie detector and scary guy, dude. Like fully
Yeah.
scary guy. So that
So well
entire episode with him was probably one of my most favorite episodes of this season.
It
I
was
just wanted him to keep coming again and again. Wapas aa. Ek aur tera
also
scene.
obligatory point for me to stop and plug my absolute favorite Instagram account. Do you guys follow What International or no?
No.
Instagram.
Oh.
Oh my god! You need to go to Instagram and follow What International because they post as what. They
Wow.
post as
Nice.
what. So there's all these sort of like these trailers for like Homelander documentaries and like Queen.
Hilarious.
Oh yeah, I've seen those randomly.
Yeah,
like I thought
dude,
it was just
What
like promotional
International-
material.
No. What you have to check out What International. The account tweets regularly
That's
as
damn
like
good.
what with soups, like doing what propaganda. It's delightful.
You know
They
something?
never.
And the problem
sorry.
is I feel at some point it could so easily be confused as reality that I'm a little scared
Yeah,
that
yeah.
people-
Hands down. It's onion. It's basically like they're taking that onion formula and
Hold
just
on.
applying it to their TV show so well.
Dude, like for example, in this university, right? There are only two major options. Either you go crime fighting or you do
or you go
media.
TV.
Yeah, or you do media, which is interesting.
Entertainer. Yeah.
Because like it's what I felt was it was a critique about our current landscape जिधर सब कुछ ही superhero है.
हाँ.
TV show superhero, movie superhero, and sub. So it's basically it
Like
makes
somebody who's got telekinesis could probably be a great civil engineer. But no, they are not. They've decided no. तू
Nope.
या तो ये बनेगा या वो बनेगा. बस खत्म.
Like क्या fast बनती metro मतलब. sorry. This is just Mumbai trauma.
No, but it's why we need somebody
Just one
like
guy who's just fixing all the roads everywhere.
just
this
एक
one guy who has
telekinesis
the
वाला
power.
और
of-
वो golden boy वो fire से welding कर रहा है.
No, or फिर Andre
Dambar-
can manipulate
Dambar
metal,
kinesis.
na?
Oh yeah.
Andre can manipulate metal, and then we have Kate who does mind control, and she can just
God.
control everybody's mind and say it only took 5 days.
Bro,
Whereas
that whole
5 years have
superhero.
passed
Or
and metro is done.
because Kate can technically push, she just pushes everyone
Yeah.
out of the metro.
Bro, that
Yeah.
whole superhero team should be called Inconvenience is Regretted.
No, that's the baseline. That's the baseline.
But again, like the show is so meta. Like the fact that your university has two outs. One is crime fighting, the other is
Media.
BMM.
BMM.
media.
Arts.
It's,
But
again,
देख तेरा placement हो जाएगा. What
Yeah.
family में. That's the important thing. ठीक है.
correct.
तेरा what family
Correct.
में placement कुछ तो they'll find a job for you, right? Because now they've invested in you.
Correct.
So there was this point where, like when Soulja Boy comes in, okay, and first of all, that was the first real big soup that suddenly just showed up, and I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was like, end
Bro,
mein
I
कोई cameo
jumped.
डालेंगे.
I jumped when I saw him because
Yeah.
Soulja Boy is probably one of the best written superhero characters
Too
So-
good.
So good.
He's too
Played
good.
amazingly by Jensen Ackles, and it's not a spoiler because it's out everywhere already. So we can officially talk about it. 100%
So-
by far my favorite moment in the show is Soulja Boy appearing for what? 3 minutes?
Yeah.
4 minutes?
That's all you need. That's all. Like
You
3
don't
minutes
need
of Soulja Boy, like, is all you need.
No, the fight scene with him in like The Boys, that was one of my favorite fight scenes, because the first time like
Correct.
Homelander is also getting his ass whooped. And so with Soulja Boy in this one, like the moment I saw this, I read an interview about him when he was about to play the character. Okay, so he came from like he was very like, lean or whatever. So he wanted to really get into superhero shape. So he did that. And then Anthony Starr looked at him, and Anthony Starr plays Homelander. So he's like, why didn't you just ask them to add muscles to your suit? That's what Anthony Starr does. And I seen Anthony Starr. It's shocking. I didn't know Anthony Starr just added a shit ton of muscles to his suit. It's like that's the biggest parody you
Christian
can
Bale crying in a corner right now. Going, "You can what? 1 second. What?"
Should also, by the way, talk about the woods. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bro,
It's
you know
just-
that you know that
a
that
flex.
wallpaper they have outside, outside the facility, like outside the cell.
Dude, I was taken back to too many doctors waiting
Yes!
rooms. Like,
Yes!
oh
Yes.
my god,
Yeah.
like it's
Oh.
oddly specific, but too many doctors waiting rooms.
The only
Ah.
difference being that in the doctor's waiting room, if you look left and right, you could see people. But here, from that little slit, all you see is
Yeah.
this imaginary display of which you don't know if it's real or not. Like that's the sad
Also, by the
part.
way, the art department, great job, because it looks just sufficiently faded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like in the sense, just enough
Yes.
hope has been removed from that this thing.
What
to
was
make
the
it
brief
bad.
for that? It's beautiful. It's too good.
But also the woods becomes like a very important part of the show, right? Because at that point, that is a place where soups are being experimented on, because that's another part of it. A more devious hidden agenda, so to speak, where another
Exactly.
important soup from the show, Sam, is constantly sort of experimented on. He also has connections to some of the other soups. You will find out when you watch it. But I think that is also another commentary that they're doing on superheroes, right?
Yeah.
Which is where Indira Shetty, who's the dean of the university,
The
is sort of
Bomanirani of this.
yeah.
Student of
Of
the
this
year. That's a
world.
mutant of the year.
Mutant of the year.
From the beginning, something's off with her, because she used to be a psychologist for what ended up being the dean, has insane control over the students in the most calming, pleasant way, but with devious intentions, which you will find out again when you watch the latest
And
episode.
then, so it begins with devious intentions, then it becomes sympathetic intentions, then it becomes
Yeah.
devious again. It's nice.
Yeah. Also, Indian character सुन के वो खुशी होता है, अरे इंदिरा शेट्टी है।
हाँ, और फिर ऐसा 5 मिनट में, अरे नहीं, ये तो मतलब
नहीं।
actually नहीं
ये
यार।
तो बहुत
इंडियन कैरेक्टर को सुपर हीरो क्यों नहीं बनाया यार, ये वाला क्यों बनाया?
Bro, they should do a straight up Indian version of Gen V, where there should be one additional layer of the coaching classes to get into God.
Yeah.
So, right, like one Chate classes
Chate,
for,
Mahesh
for
tutorials.
superheroes.
I can't unsee Chate classes for superheroes.
Yeah,
Bro,
I
and
can't.
they'll be on the side of the bus. Those
Yeah,
superheroes.
something
And
like
over
that.
there, it's not top 10 students. Over there, it's that passport photo of them with
Of all 100. Of all 100.
Oh,
But
God.
so we've covered pretty much all there is to cover in the season so far. 7 episodes are out. Before we close, then go ahead.
Did you guys expect Victoria Newman? Like, I started expecting her the moment I saw Marie just use the control blood outside her body, someone else's. The moment she saves that kid, I was like, oh, this is some relation to the head popper.
Oh, I didn't.
Because I
But-
caught that way early.
Wow, bhai, तू writer है क्या show का?
No,
Yeah, really.
I was like, they were
Aadar
trying
loves
to
the
connect
boys.
that somehow. Yeah, I love it. I love that. And I was like, this is somewhere connected to this one. And I think, oh, that's the blood. And then they mentioned it also. You've got a benefactor at some point.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
And I
know
was
you
like,
were going to
guarantee.
see.
Yeah. But Victoria Newman, I was like, okay, now I get to really see her come into like one of my favorite characters in The Boys, which is not really explored that much.
Correct. So, just want to close with asking all of y'all, Rojo, well done on covering the spoilers.
I just heard
Yeah.
that name and I went like straight up. Like it was yeah.
But okay, for
yeah.
all of us, Kautuk, favorite character, favorite moment, and one word why we should watch the show.
I think favorite character for me is going to be I think Luke, because of how
Golden Boy.
Yeah, Golden Boy, and it's just because of the same stuff we've covered before. It's like every time he's on screen, he's like a counterweight to Homelander. Like, the sort of like there's a purity to him, but then he does these things which makes you wonder how right you are about his character, which I really liked. And one reason to watch the show definitely is if you enjoy your media being skewered, and especially right now with all of this superhero stuff that's just the absolute dominant thing on the landscape. If you like that stuff being parodied, like I love the true crime parody because I'm a huge true crime fan. So that Tech Night episode was by far, I think, my favorite.
Yeah.
I want an Indian news channel to interview these guys.
Exactly.
Like in the studio, and Homelander loses it in the studio of an Indian news channel.
No more Indian news ever. Homelander solves crisis in Indian journalism with one blink.
Baba, tera?
I'm actually torn. I like Emma a lot because I think that the graph that she's got, where she starts off as this, and they reveal her like an onion, right? Like in the beginning, you think she's only going to get small, right? It's only later that one day she says, bro, I can also become this. I knew this about myself. I've only hid it. I've hidden it from myself. I hid it from my mom and stuff. And the fact that she comes from, like the mom's relationship with her, even in the gala party, the fact that you can feel that disappointment that we spoke about, when of the parents and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot that Emma can do, and the fact that literally she's the anti-me and she's up for anything. Like, you tell her you want to do this, yes, we'll do it, chalo, let's go. And I am not that person even remotely in any way. So I think Emma is definitively somebody that I really enjoy and really like. And Golden Boy for only one reason, and that is that I just feel that there is a conscience to that man that hasn't been explored or exploited enough, because there's personal stakes involved, as you will see during the show. So those two things. And why should you watch the show? Since I don't enjoy the genre a lot, but I think that this is something that yes, Varun, I know you want to say.
I was dying because we are doing this podcast with 4 people who watch/like superhero movies and shows. We have one person, guys, and this is testament to the fact that the show is actually good because it made Baba watch all 7 episodes voluntarily with us.
Scorsese of BISS.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
No, it's not
Martin Scorsese. Is this cinema enough for you, sir?
No,
or
Rohan,
is this cinema enough for you,
Rohan? There are enough superhero things that I can watch, and we'll discuss it. But like, it's just this like inundation of like, it's just, some of it is just nonsense, man. And you have to have, like, if you really want to enjoy it and be like, it's that Star Wars game when we were young and you didn't mind doing it because you had the time. I can't keep up with 78 films, 23 shows, 768 podcasts. I can't do it. So but yeah, so I think that I'm not a fan of the genre a lot, but I think that there is a lot of things that help you. It's a story that's really nice that runs through it, and I think that
Baba, I think it's just the cynicism of the show that appeals to you. I think it's just the fact that no one is a good person. And Baba's like, I agree. Correct.
Rohan, you favorite character?
So it's a tie between Emma and Tech Night for now. Because one of the things I love about Emma, aside from like the amazing things about her powers that Kautuk already talked about, is there's very few. So there's the character that's there because they're the hero, and there's the character that's there because they're conflicted. And then every story has that one character that is there just because they are amazing and can potentially change the game with it. And I think Emma's that character. Like Emma's like the Fonzie of the piece, or like this thing, because out of all of them, she's just got the most unique vibe. Like even the actor, she's so good. Right?
Very good.
She's got a very good, like sort of off the cuff sort of vibe. She's like one of those instant classic Ramona Flowers type characters for me.
And I think, Rohan, just to add to that, it's also because in this world of superheroes where there is so much ego floating around, she doesn't have the hero complex at all. Like,
and she's that great classic trope from all teen movies / shows of like the best roommate you could possibly hope to have, like that roommate that changes your life and your worldview. And I think
keep Jo Jeeta Wahi soup alive, she is Ruxana.
Exactly. She is Ruxana. Exactly that, right? And now, so in terms of favorite scene also, it's a toss-up, it's a tie between two. Without giving spoilers, I'll say Tech Night and Home Appliances.
Yes.
Is one
that entire Tech Night episode.
And the other one is, I really, again, without giving spoilers, I really, really like that scene where...
With Sam?
With Sam, but then also with Sam, when that other guy comes in, I really like the way, like, that character really got in that guy's head. Like,
correct.
Like, I just want to say that, like, the way she sort of got in his head.
Emma was the only one who got into somebody's head.
I was trying to be subtle. But yes. I like the way that one and the way that scene resolved also, with sort of be like,
very well done.
What the hell?
And I've had Aparna looking at me. How did they shoot this? I was like, no, there's like, I'm sure that there was a pool, and then
I'm sure.
And I'm explaining to her CGI at this point. We're pausing the show and just going like, this is how it works.
I think it's that classic Hathi ne Cheeti ko kaise mara. Cheeti ne Hathi ko kaise mara.
It's exactly.
But again, it takes that and turns it on its head.
And again,
even a Hathi Cheeti joke in Boys is completely different.
It's 20 seconds, that entire bit, but it's not like this long drawn out thing. It's literally just 20, and that 20 seconds is all you need. 20 Tarantinoesque seconds.
I think keeping in mind with that, they had done there's a scene with Sam in the season
my
of Gen V,
my favorite character, hands down.
Yeah, like, because he's probably the most powerful of all the suits there, right? Superhuman strength, Golden Boy's brother, experimented on throughout his childhood, so obviously grown up with mental problems. Again, they're dealing with something like mental health issues via a soup route. So that is really good. I think he's going to eventually be one of the most important characters, primarily because he's the most powerful in the crew, but also to see a soup deal with actual mental health problems. And they did this scene with Black Noir in Boys, right, where he's in love with that animated show,
cartoon.
And how they've used the cartoons to describe his mental health. They've done something similar with Sam. There's a full-blown action sequence, probably one of the best shot sequences in the show, not just for execution, but just for the idea. Like, they took that and they gave it to you like this. I wish I could say it better.
It has no blood, but it is the most brutal scene for some reason. It seems so much more brutal without the blood.
But so again, brilliantly done. Okay, Rohan, you can put it back on.
It's okay. I've just learned.
No, so Sam, I love Sam as a character because he's, first of all, his relationship with Emma, and because Sam is so powerful, something's going to go down in the last episode. So I'm very excited about what happens because he's easily swayed right now. वो उधर गया, तो now he's like,
he's essentially he's the nuke that's in play, right? Like, there's always like movies that have that nuke that's in play in the last episode.
Correct.
So that's I'm really looking forward to what happens with Sam.
Correct. So 7 episodes of Gen V are out. As we have described over the course of the last 45 minutes, or how much ever time this ends up being edited to, it is definitely currently one of the most bingeable shows to watch if you like dark comedy, if you like satire, if you like teen drama, if you like superheroes, and you want to
And
watch
goo.
all of it,
And you like goo.
Yeah.
Lots of goo.
So,
Lots of
yeah.
red spattery goo.
And
Don't
done in the
forget.
most grossest yet amazing way possible. Go check out Gen V. 7 episodes are currently streaming next week or Friday. This coming Friday after this episode you're watching. The finale is coming out. It's all building up to a banger of a finale, which even
Yes.
Neville is excited about. Guys, can you believe it?
This is
Yeah.
my
He's
excited.
also
face.
excited.
Yes, that
This is
right
my
there is a
excited
man's
face.
excited face right there.
This is my
Yes.
excited face.
So yeah,
Yes.
check out Gen V on Amazon Prime Video, and thank you so much for watching this bonus episode. We were talking about Gen V. Let us know in the comments what you've liked about the show, what you're most excited about, your predictions, and yeah, enjoy, मजे करो और देखते रहो show or podcast. Thanks.
You know what? At this point, they should just get Kate to touch the internet fiber optic cable of the world and just say, guys, watch the show.
Yeah.
Everybody just glued to it.
Push.
That's actually a good idea. Let's suggest it to What International.
Yeah.
Okay. See you guys. Thank you, Rohan, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Good
yeah,
fun.
Rohan.
Thanks,
Thank you,
buddy.
brother.
No. Very enjoying Gen V very much. Thank you for like treading lightly on the spoilers for the episodes I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Thank all of you except Aadar Malik.
Yeah.
For